Capricorn, welcome to your June 2018 general tarot reading. I'm Leona Nicole Black. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me. Capricorn, I promised I wouldn't keep doing you last, and so here I am. What are we, the 8th of June? You're getting your June reading. I'm very proud of myself. Hopefully you guys will be excited to see this. Okay, so couple of just housekeeping notes. Obviously, this is a general reading. I'm tuning into Capricorn energy on a broad perspective. If you would like to get into the specifics of your personal circumstances, then you can get a reading from me at nicoleblack.com/services. I must say, the link will be in the description box, and I must say, of all the kind of different signs that probably reach out to me for readings, Capricorn, you are the least to do so, I would say. I think I don't get a lot of Capricorn one-on-one clients. I think that's because you guys tend to go it alone, tend to strive to get things done by yourselves, and are the last really to ask for help. So consider that, you know, even if you don't come to me and you're going to someone else, try to be a little bit out of the box sometimes in terms of getting some spiritual input into what's happening with you. Okay, right, so please do follow me on Instagram, Leona Nicole Black, and I'm on Twitter as Leona N Black. And thank you so much for your love and for your subscriptions and the comments and the sharing. It's really dope. I do this for the love of it, but it's always really nice to hear back how it's affecting you and how you're feeling about it. And some of you are actually sending me quite in-depth messages on a personal level, let me know what's going on with you, and I really appreciate that vulnerability. Okay, so Cap, let's get into your reading. I pulled 3 cards to begin with, asking how are you showing up in June. Your first, the 9 of Pentacles. This is definitely you, Earth sign energy here. We got the 7 of Swords and the Tower, Major Arcana. Listen, it's not easy for you right now. We know this. I've been saying this for months, and none of the Earth signs are having it that easy. I think... All right, I'm sorry to talk about other signs in your reading, right? But I think you're probably having I don't want to say most difficult time, but in terms of the strictness, in terms of the slack, you know, like a little wiggle room. I think of the 3 Earth signs, you probably have the least wiggle room of all of us. I'm a Virgo. I think Taurus is maturing, learning a lot about environment and people, and, you know, figuring out how to manage themselves. And Virgo is having to deal with the self. You know, Virgo is seeing themselves as their obstacle. But for you guys, it's much bigger, it's much broader. Your energy is bigger anyway. You are the sign that is really about showing up in the world and taking power and contributing something to society. Very similar to Aquarius, but you need to establish, build structures, businesses, ideas, thoughts, belief systems, whatever it is. You want to establish things that last way beyond you. And because of that, your challenges are big. So to speak to how you're showing up this month, I think the 9 of Pentacles, Capricorn, how are you feeling? Let me just tune into that energy a bit. I feel like you're over trying to convince other people of your worth. I think, you know, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, I didn't feel it as a lack of self-worth. I don't think you guys are there. I don't think it's that you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Or I think you are recognizing your value. You're recognizing how hard you work. You're recognizing what you've actually established in the world and how much you have to offer. But you're done with people not really seeing that, people not responding to you, people not valuing your work, people not giving you the right opportunities, not having faith in you, not taking a risk on you, not investing in your projects, not supporting your dreams. I think you're just I'm not gonna beg, basically. I'm not gonna beg you to participate in this process with me. So it's like you've withdrawn your energy a little bit. You know, you've withdrawn either from particular places, withdrawn from certain social groups, or even just not communicating your ideas as much in the ways that you were before, because I see 7 of Swords here. Now, this is kind of how you're showing up this month. I was going to talk about this in the context of other people, but it's Spirit prompted me and was like, no, this is their card. This is you guys. So this is a confirmation of what I was just saying. You are kind of being sneaky this month. It's more that you're trying to play your cards close to your chest and just be like, yeah, do you know what I mean? Not really here for the drama. I don't even need to tell you how much I'm not here for you anymore. I'm just gonna pull my energy and I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm just gonna like do my business on the side. So for some of you, this could be being in a job, being in a career space, being in a creative space that's no longer letting you grow, where you're not like having fruition, where you're a bit frustrated and applying for something else while you're there. You know, like just being like, I'm gonna spend all my time on this job working on my next job. It's that kind of energy I'm feeling. I don't think you're being, it's a swords card, and I think it's more mentally being cunning, maybe is the word, not deceitful. Being cunning, being like, okay, how can I make these situations work for me and not even let other people know I'm doing that? You know, like that's what I feel from you. And I see this also, it feels like a race, you know, with like the athletics race where people are like almost getting ready to run, whether they're waiting for the go moment or it's a relay race and they're like running, waiting for the person to hand over. I see you guys primed to leave, primed to just take off from wherever you are, primed to get out of this situation, because the Tower card is here and I think you sense it. I think you sense it, and I think, you know, it's here in your energy, not in the external things. It hasn't come up. Your external cards are pretty stable. This has come up as internal for you. So for some of you, this is seeking to break out, as in like there is an energy within you that is like firing away, like free me, get me out of this situation, release me. Remember that the Devil card in the tarot is your energy, so was your card. So not your energy, it's your card. So it's like trying to call in the Tower energy, like, yeah, let's let this whole thing burn down. Let's let this whole thing topple. Let's get out of it, you know. I'm calling in the situations that forces change. Like you're you're willing to destroy. It's kind of what I'm saying on an internal level for some of you. For others of you, it is feeling chaos and disarray inside, just like I just can't get a grasp on things. Like there's things where I want to get them, and so there is this kind of like more panic energy. Some of you are more grounded and like, I want this whole thing to fall apart so I can get out. Others of you are like, it's already falling apart or fearing it falling apart and feeling a little panicked. But what I felt immediately looking at your cards is Saturn. You know, Saturn is your ruler. And I feel like it is really, you know, it's come home to your sign. Saturn is in Capricorn at the moment. And I don't know if I don't think it's the easiest thing for you. I don't think it's the easiest energy to have that disciplinarian, you know, lord of like karma and thinking about timing and ending and beginning worlds and all of this kind of like, it's definitely the energy of lessons, and it's the testing energy. It's like, what have you done with what I've given you? What have you learned with the time and the experiences I've given you? It's a testing of your mettle. And I don't think it's the easiest thing for you right now. And I feel that there's no slack. I feel like the spirit, the universe is not letting up on you. It's like really revealing yourself, you know, like diamond through fire. It's like, I'm turning up the flames. You guys are like, I don't know, I don't like this, I want to get out. And it's like temperature up. You know, you're really being refined. What's going on externally for you is actually a spiritual process. And so what we need really, I guess, is to understand, like, how do you navigate that in the best way? How do you take yourself through that without getting lost, without being crushed, without turning to ash because of the intensity of the challenges and the difficulties in your life? I bought some context cards. Page of Wands is here. And it's interesting that the Page of Wands is here. It's been coming up a lot this month. It is a time for speaking truth, I believe. The Page of Wands is here alongside the Seven of Swords. And I thought the message for you, Capricorn, is that you're doing, this is your solution, right? Your solution is, I'm not finding the right soul family. I'm not finding the right community. I'm not finding the right environments. I'm not being invested in the ways that I need to. And so I'm going to sneak away, or I'm going to, you know, try and figure the situation out on my own. But Spirit's actually saying this is the more ideal energy for you. This is what you're being stretched into at the moment. And it's saying, actually, no, have the courage to continue to show up in the world with your authenticity, with your vision, with your plan. There's no one else in this card, you know, despite not having that support, despite not having that investment in you. It's like, invest in yourself, like believe enough in yourself to be like, this is a page, remember, it's not a knight and it's not a king, it's not a queen, it is the page. So it's like, yes, you're at a beginning level, you're initiating something in some way, but it's like, that's fine. Bet on yourself is this energy, because it's saying the Empress here is in reverse, and the testing that you're going through right now, the refining, is like everything that takes you out of your power. Interestingly, you've got the Emperor too. So it's really speaking to you now about your inner power, who you are on a soul level, Capricorn. And it's saying to you, the Empress in reverse, that all of this energy you're experiencing, the why you're feeling this internally, is because Saturn and Spirit are trying to show you everywhere you give up your power. And now the Empress in reverse here is how you give up your dream and your vision. It's where you make yourself smaller. It's where you take just the practical route. It's where you say to yourself, okay, I could do this bigger, greater thing, but I'm going to, you know, stay where the money is good. I'm going to stay where there's security. I'm going to stay in my routine. I'm going to be stuck. I'm going to repeat this, or I'm going to focus on the physical things. I'm going to master the material aspect of the universe, get the house, get the car, get the money, get the prestige, you know. And it's like, if you look at the Queen, sorry, the Empress upright, look how abundant she is. Like, she has mastered the physical. She is not spiritual to the exclusion of the physical. Her card is mad abundant. And it's saying you can have both, but what you're doing right now is sacrificing your inner vision to have it. And so it's saying, like, you know, Saturn is showing you this. It's showing you this in your life. It's testing and pushing you so that you can actually stand up and go, like, do you know what? I do want all those things, but I need my soul to be fulfilled too, and I need to be honest about what that looks like to me. Maybe it's this job and not that job. Maybe it's this kind of relationship and not this one. Maybe it's I do want children, or maybe it's I actually don't want children, or whatever it is. It has to be your truth. Because with the Queen of Wands, you're being asked what you value. And that's the contrast, Queen of Pentacles, sorry, I don't know why I do that. That's the contrast for you here, Capricorn. You're being asked what you value, and that's why you are the Nine of Pentacles. You know you have a lot of value developed within yourself, and as nobody, and I'll say nobody, there's obviously people who are going to respect and encourage you, but as you're not getting invested in and respected and acknowledged in the ways you specifically want, it's like it's self, and that's what Spirit's asking you. What do you believe in? What do you value? What have you built this on? What are the values in your life? What's important to you? What matters? What's your philosophy? What's your worldview? Who are you here to serve? It's not yourself. Capricorn, I mean, we're all here in service to Spirit. We're all here to develop, you know, and evolve our consciousness. We're all here to take the human species to the next level, right? But you specifically, you are not here for yourself. Now, you're not here, I'm not saying that some of you aren't spiritual healers, but in terms of the archetype of Capricorn, you're not really here to do that one-on-one work and service to others. You're here to do the broader, bigger, large scale, like, you know, institutions, governments, all those kinds of things, business, like commerce, all that. That's what you're here for. And it's saying it's not for you alone. And so that's why it's saying, like, what are you building? Like, and this is what you're building. Remember, Nine of Pentacles and next calls, and that is something, that's the energy and the wealth and the abundance that can sustain communities. And maybe part of the reason that you're not evolving up out of this, why people are not coming with that extra pentacle, you need to go to the next level, Capricorn, is that your vision is too small, it's too personal. And Saturn is asking you, what in your life, what gifts do you have, what's inside you, what's been invested in you by Spirit that you need to develop and cultivate for the culture. Because your next card is the Emperor. And I told you both of the Emperor and the Empress are out. 3 and 4 cards here. They come one after the other. And Spirit is saying, once you're clear on what that is, like, you're being called to take your place in the world. Some of you are sneaking away. this is what's being required of you at this season of your life, particularly the energy of June, and you are like not showing up, slinking away, going, I don't know. I don't think I'm respected enough. It's not the conditions that I want. It's not the vision that I had. And Spirit's like, look, I'm not really playing with you. You need to show up and take your place in the world. You need to establish your vision. You need to build your empire. Okay. So, you know, your next cards are about your soul lessons, but I feel like even the context cards are really speaking to that. So your soul lessons for June, Capricorn, they are, firstly, the Three of Wands in reverse. It's saying, look, you really can't wait around. I actually love the combination of cards you've got. You've got so much earth and fire energy here. Really speaking to the need to establish what you're passionate about. Page of Wands, remember, is saying here, you can't wait for things to happen. You can't wait for opportunities to come to you. You can't wait for people to believe in you. You just stop waiting. This is a person who's like looking for their ships to return. If people aren't investing in you, if the energy is not where you are, leave, get out. The Page of Wands is beginning a journey. The next card that you have is your soul lesson for June. You know the song that came to me, It's Your World. I was going to sing it, but then I got a little shy. I can't do it. I'm sorry, Capricorn. But It's Your World is a song by Common, I believe. Common the rapper. So go listen to that. Because that's the song that came up. And it's like, it's your world. I might listen to it after this. It's your world. And this person in this card is literally holding the world in their hands. And it's asking you, your soul lesson in June is, where do you want to expand? Where do you want to grow? Where do you want to move out? How do you want to seize the world? What worlds do you want to create? What imprint do you want to have? Because the world is yours. He's holding the world in his hands. And before he embarks on this journey, he's making a decision. He's plotting, he's planning. Now, this comes up later for you as advice for June. So this is really clearly a soul lesson for you. You're being held back, Capricorn. A lot of the difficulty you've been experiencing in the last few months, a lot of the stagnation and the obstacles is because you haven't been clear. And Spirit's been like, I'm not sending you out into the world until you know what's what. Because if I do, and you go out there without a clear vision, when you have an obstacle, you will give up. You know, you will fail, you will change course, you will never birth the Empress in reverse. You'll never birth the things that you need to. And what's coming to me is a scene from the a part of the story of The Alchemist, the novel. And you know, there's a, you know, my friend sent me an extract from the book again the other day that just was like perfect timing because I needed to see it, and it reminded me of how, I don't know if he was called Ishmael or I'm making that up, I might be thinking of Moby Dick, but the main character in the book who is like navigating this story goes through so much obstacles, so many difficulties, and there's a point in which he's meant to be getting to the treasure, the thing that he's been seeking, that he's been guided by spirit to go towards, and he's literally battered, beaten up, and it's like, you know, that's what sometimes, that is the path that we're walking. Sometimes there is so much resistance, so much obstacles. There are powers, you know, like I keep saying, Capricorn, the Devil card in the Tarot represents like your energy, your archetype, and there are powers that be. There are both political, cultural, social powers, but there are also spiritual powers that do not want to see you establish good, sustainable practices. They don't want to see you feed and serve and heal your community. They don't want to see things come out of you. And so you will go on this path and you will find obstacles and it will look crazy. And you need to have such conviction that despite that, it's funny because there's pyramids kind of, or it looks like pyramids in the end of this and the back scene of this card, and the character I was just talking about in The Alchemist has that scene on a pyramid, you know, more confirmation. You need to have such conviction about your who you are, what you're here to do, the vision that you're creating in the world, that in the face of crazy obstacle, you're like single-minded. And you're able to say, what is being refined in me through this process, what am I healing? What's coming to the surface? What am I understanding about myself? Or what power is it that's there for me to take? Because sometimes, I've been saying this a lot in my monthly readings, think about the gaming concept and the fact that as you level up, you get to the last boss, the final boss in a game. And it's saying really that there's sometimes when you do this, you know, like if you beat a boss, you get a prize, you know, like when you kill them, like they usually, like you kill a monster in the game, and then when they die, like they release all this stuff. And you need to think about some of the obstacles that you're facing in your life as actually the gift to you. It's where you take your power. It's where you level up, you get the next skill you need, but you literally take power. So you need to show up for these fights with conviction and not like, this is so awful, I can't believe this happened to me. And, you know, it's more like, oh, since this is here, what's the opportunity for me to get here? What power can I take? How can I evolve myself as the emperor and become even more able to exact the vision of the empress? And then the last card you have in terms of your soul lesson is the Queen of Cups. Now, it's funny. I retweeted someone today, Friday, 8th of June on Twitter, my Twitter account. I don't remember her name now, but she tweeted that stress has been getting in the way of her money. And so she had to be like a Capricorn and like cut that out and kind of focus on her coin. And I laughed and I was like, that's definitely the Capricorn MO. And then I spoke about Cancer, who's your opposite sign, you know, who can't exclude emotion. Cancer has to involve their emotion in how they attract and build and deal with money and the energy of money. But you are here, you have the Queen of Cups, which is the Cancer card for me. That was genuinely a water card, but she's always for me. I read Queen of Cups as Cancer, and here is your opposite sign. And it's saying that part of the balance and the soul lesson for you this month is that you cannot continue to work at the exclusion of your emotion, of your intuition, and of your passions anymore, Capricorn. You can't. You have to open yourself up emotionally, and you have to let that feed you. Part of the reason that you haven't had a big enough vision, part of the reason you've not been working towards a great enough goal is because you're not in it. It's not something that is, you haven't seen the need to satisfy yourself emotionally with your projects, and therefore you don't get that need to do that on a broader social scale. Now, Capricorn, yes, you like achievement. Yes, you can have accolades. Yes, you can build, but that has nothing really to do with your emotional needs. And this month is asking you on a soul level, what are your emotional needs? What do you need to respond to internally? What in your life needs to be accommodated? Because if you're clear about that, then you can create visions, creativity, projects. You can establish relationships that match that. So if you know, for example, that spending time with friends is really important to you, that it nourishes you, that it establishes you and it builds you up, that's something I've really been learning this last month, then you need to make lifestyle choices that involve that. And you need to make career decisions that involve that. And when you're developing creative projects and businesses and doing things out in the world, you need to be able to think about, how do I do things in a way that allows the people I'm working with and for to have these same things? So if you employ people, Capricorn, if you are business owners, you know, if you employ people, if you're managers, do you manage them in a way that allows them to have the things that are nourishing to them emotionally? When they ask for time off, when they ask for flexibility around children, when they ask for, you know, different things, are you just like, no, get to the work? Or are you like, you're a whole person with deep, complex needs, and it's important that you feel nourished and that you grow? And so I will govern and I will lead and I will manage and people in ways that allows them to both do their project, their creative work, and honor who they are as a person. That's just an example, Capricorn. If you don't do that for yourself, you won't be that kind of leader. You won't be that kind of manager. You won't be the emperor that people want to work under, that people want to come and build this vision. You'll be a violent dictator that people run from. So delve into the emotional realm. That's part of your soul lesson. Let me recap the soul lessons. They are, you can't wait around for everything to be presented for you or for situations to change or to be invested in. You need to establish what is your vision, what do you want to create, what are you wanting to expand into in the world, and then add practicality to it. And you need to involve your emotional self in that vision. That's your soul lesson for June. Now, advice cards. A lot of your reading is purely layered, as in it's just building on what I've already said. We've had lots of Wands and Pentacles and Cups. Not much Swords energy. I think you've had enough time to think things over on that kind of like level. You know, the thinking Swords energy really is something about how you make practical application. But if you don't have the vision, if you don't have the intention, if you don't have the commitment, there's no point. That's just a pipe dream then. You know, you want to bring the swords in last. Okay. Confirmation of what I just said. 9 of Cups is your advice card. Be happy, Capricorn. Almost I feel like the universe is pushing you around a bit. You know, pushing you around, pushing you into spaces where you're unhappy, dissatisfied, not getting everything you need. And they're like, well, I don't know. Are you going to go for it, or are you going to sit there and be like, I don't have it? You know? It's almost like, it's a bit like this. It's a bit like going to let's say you go to someone's house, you go to a family and they've cooked dinner but there's no food for you, like they haven't cooked enough for you. Are you just going to sit down and watch everybody eat, Capricorn? Or are you going to go in the kitchen and make your food, or order takeaway, or ask someone to share? That's what the universe is doing to you. It's literally taking your meal and saying, if it's not served to you, you're going to make yourself happy. You're going to go after what makes you happy, or you're going to say it's just not in my environment, so it's not for me. 9 of Cups. Find satisfaction in your daily life. Create routines that are built around your emotional well-being and your connection, man. You need to be happy, Capricorn. You've not been happy for a while. Out of that happiness, you'll be able to establish yourself. King of Pentacles. Great energy for you. Definitely your energy here. It's saying that you will be fueled by your happiness to work harder, to establish, to master the physical realm. You'll be abundant, you'll be content, and your contentment and your emotional satisfaction will only draw more to you. You can emerge like this if you can work on your happiness and factor and prioritize your happiness. And as a confirmation of this, the first major arcana you've got so far in this part of your reading is the Strength card in your advice. Connect with your passions, your lusts, your desires, and use them. I always say that this is not taming the lion to defang it and make it weak. It is engaging with the lion, the lower, the beast nature here, the Leo energy, in order to bring it into life. It is going to it and acquainting yourself with your deepest desires. Not suppressing the animal self because it's uncivilized here. That's not the purpose of this card. It's actually going deep into the passionate self. Your last 2 cards. Knight of Pentacles in reverse with the Fool in reverse. It's saying, Capricorn, you can establish some new beginnings now. You can go off passionately in the direction of your dreams, your visions, your hopes, ambitions, and desires. You can. Spirit says yes. Saturn will let up. But you need to be practical about those things. There's planning. You're not well planned. You're not well established yet, Capricorn. There's a lot you don't understand. And so, to be honest, the things that you're being held back from right now, the things that feel frustrating to you, you don't recognize are actually protection. You're being protected. You're kicking out the door and like, I want to get through. And Spirit's like, you don't know there's a raging fire on the other side. Stay here. Okay? So while you're in your holding pattern, you're being asked to get really clear, to strategize a bigger vision that incorporates not just you, but others. And in the incorporation of yourself, it has to be your emotional, true self. You came here to experience emotions, Capricorn. That's just true. You did. And you need to stop alienating, suppressing, and acting like they're not important. You need to learn from your opposite sign who just lives in the emotional realm. Cancer is just full of the full spectrum of emotions. Cancer can go from ecstatic to tears in 0 to 60 seconds, you know. And that's your opposite sign. So you need to pull from their energy. They're going to balance you out. Okay, so let's say you're an extreme here, Capricorn, and Cancer's here, and you need to find more balance in your life and more middle ground, and you need to move in the energy, the direction of Cancer. Integrate more of that into your life. So Capricorn, like I said, if you need more support and encouragement and just some more wisdom and guidance about your path forward and what's happening with you, it's NicoleBlack.com/services. Video calls and in person for those of you who are in London are available. And please do follow me, like I said, on Instagram, Leonie Nicole Black. Please like, share, subscribe, comment if you wish to. Love you, Capricorn. Very happy to have your reading out earlier in the month, and I will see you in July. Much love.